This is the CBS Evening News with Connie Chung in Los Angeles and Dan Rather in Hopewell Township, Pennsylvania.
Good evening. Twilight time in Pittsburgh. At this hour, investigators out there over that ridge behind me are hard at work, piecing together clues in the mystery crash of U.S. Air Flight 427. Just getting to the crash site is so difficult, everyone except investigators is supposed to be confined to this makeshift command site in a mall parking lot. Here's what we know. The Boeing-built jetliner was headed from Chicago to Florida last night with a scheduled stop at the Pittsburgh International Airport just a few miles southeast of here. Instead, the plane plowed straight down into the ground here in Beaver County in very rough and rocky terrain. The weather was clear, communications were normal. There were 132 people on board. No survivors. It is the nation's deadliest air crash in 7 years, the fifth for the company U.S. Air in just 5 years. CBS News correspondent Bob Orr begins our coverage.
This is all that's left of U.S. Air Flight 427, a horrifying scene of carnage and debris scattered on a rural Pennsylvania hillside. A jetliner which carried 132 people shredded into pieces no bigger than a car door. The Boeing 737 en route from Chicago to West Palm Beach was approaching an intermediate stop in Pittsburgh when it just dropped out of the sky.
And I said, oh my God, look at the plane. And we looked up, and it looked like, it was smoke and then stuff, and it just come down and just exploded.
Somebody said plane going down, and I looked up, and all I seen was just sparks fly everywhere, and then I just seen smoke up in the air.
Witnesses say the plane was flying about 1,000 feet above the ground with its nose down slightly. Suddenly, the jet rolled to the right and onto its back, and then seemed to accelerate in a nosedive straight to the ground. Rescue workers, guided by a column of smoke, reached the wreckage in a matter of minutes. It made no difference. There was no one to save. Today, investigators took their first look at the crash site, which offered no immediate clues.
We're all very much at a loss to explain this accident, and given the kind of destruction that we have seen at the site, I expect that the NTSB will be working on this for quite some time.
Some help might come from the plane's black box flight data and cockpit voice recorders, which are being analyzed tonight at the FAA's lab in Washington. But air safety experts are puzzled.
The thing that's very chilling in this accident is that unlike many others where there is obviously an overt causal envelope, if you will, there's nothing to indicate why an airplane simply rolled out of the sky in this case and hit the ground.
With weather not a factor, investigators are focusing on the pilot's actions and the plane's mechanical performance, and specifically on eyewitness accounts that the jet may have lost one or even both of its engines shortly before the crash. Bob Orr, CBS News, Hopewell Township, Pennsylvania.
One of the first law enforcement officials to make it to the scene of the crash of Flight 427 was Frank Policaro, the sheriff of Beaver County, Pennsylvania. I spoke with the sheriff a short while ago.
A very gruesome, devastating, trash area. Obviously, from the impact of the airplane as it exploded, as it hit into the ground, nose down.
Tell me in detail what you saw and what you thought.
Saw flesh, human body parts strewn over the entire area. It just stopped me in my tracks. It stopped me. I just couldn't believe what I'd seen.
Any idea in your own mind what caused it?
The witnesses indicated that they heard the engine sputtering, the type of, like an automobile not hitting on all six or all eight. They heard it sputtering, and then they heard the engine stop. And when they heard the engine stop, they seen a flame come out of the engine, and at that time it took a left pitch, rolled over on its back, belly up, and nose down, straight down into the ground. And upon impact and hitting the ground, it exploded. A large puff of black smoke came up, followed by the amber and the orange and the fiery red flame.
Sheriff, even for trained professional law enforcement people, this is grim work. How do they take it?
Hard. We've had men that could not take it. We have a team of doctors, physicians, dentists, nurses that respond to our disaster call. And fortunately, they were here to attend to the individuals that did get stressed out on this.
veteran Beaver County Sheriff Frank Policaro. Now, the sheriff was by no means the only local emergency official who rushed to the accident scene last night. There were dozens of good people who live around here who pitched in to help. Correspondent Jacqueline Adams has some of their stories.
The first people to reach the crash site last night were horrified by what they found.
And all we've seen was body parts hanging from the trees and just people everywhere.
Today, even seasoned veterans, nurses, firemen, rescue workers could barely comprehend the scope of the devastation, the human devastation.
There were no faces. We saw no faces. There were so many body parts, but there were no faces.
Because the bodies are so mangled, forensic scientists assembling at the site doubt they'll be able to complete their task.
There are a lot of pieces of bodies out there, and even with the expertise we have, there's a possibility that some people may not be identified.
Among those being mourned, 41-year-old Larry Grondin. The Nashua, New Hampshire husband and father finished work ahead of schedule last night and caught an earlier plane, Flight 427.
It's just too hard to think he's gone, you know?
In West Palm Beach, though, fear turned to relief when the flight that followed 427 did arrive safely.
For 40 minutes, I thought my loved ones were dead.
But that was perhaps the only bright spot in this tragedy. Here at the crash site, the stress of working amid so much destruction has forced police and firemen to cut their shifts by half to 2/3. Area councilors and pastors are trying to help.
Many of them, their profession is to save people, and there's nobody to save. All of those people died instantly.
The crash may have taken only seconds, but its scars will mar many lifetimes. Jacqueline Adams, CBS News, Hopewell Township, Pennsylvania.
This was the second fatal crash for U.S. Air just this summer. For Boeing, this was one of more than 2,600 737s Boeing has built, the most widely sold jet in commercial aviation history. Government and airline officials insist deregulation, dog-eat-dog competition, and heavy cost-cutting played no role in this or any of the string of accidents U.S. Air has suffered. Correspondent Jim Stewart has been checking the airline's safety records.
Until last night's crash, U.S. Air was regarded by the experts as a hard-working, if somewhat struggling airline, rating a solid B in safety. The International Airline Passengers Association gives only 5 U.S. carriers an A. The rest are rated a notch lower based on a formula involving accidents, fatalities, and maintenance practices. But U.S. Air's next report card could change.
Well, our members have called this morning. They were a little concerned about U.S. Air.
It was the 5th fatal U.S. Air crash in 5 years, beginning with a 1989 skid off a runway in New York. Cause, pilot error. In 1991, there was a collision with a commuter plane in Los Angeles. Cause, air traffic controller error. In 1992, another crash at LaGuardia. Cause, poor ice removal. And last July in Charlotte, 37 people died. Probable cause, wind shear. Accidents that blemish an otherwise good record.
When you perform well day in, day out, like U.S. Air has done and operates so many, many flights, that's taken for granted. So they get these perhaps black marks, and it's difficult to erase them.
Other airlines like Delta have had similar strings of bad luck and bounced back. And U.S. Air isn't the only airline to have crashed a Boeing 737 in good weather. United Airlines did it in 1991 in a similarly eerie fashion.
Eyewitnesses to the U.S. Air crash described precisely the same flight profile as eyewitnesses to the United 585 crash at Colorado Springs.
U.S. Air won't take the hit on this crash alone, most experts agree. The disaster is almost certain to raise questions again over whether the Federal Aviation Administration spends too much time promoting the industry and not enough time inspecting it. Jim Stewart, CBS News at Washington's National Airport.
So that's the latest. That's what we know and what we don't know up to this hour on the mystery crash of Flight 427. I'll have an update from here in Pennsylvania later in this broadcast. Right now, let's skip across the continent to Connie Chung in Los Angeles with the rest of the day's news. Connie?
Thanks, Dan. Still to come on the CBS Evening News from Los Angeles and Pennsylvania. The U.S. and Cuba make a deal to stem the tide of Cuban refugees. An eye on America. Tonight, healthcare in Canada. A model for the U.S. or a warning?
A new beginning deserves a beautiful finish. Polycrylic protective finish from Minwax. Unlike ordinary finishes, polycrylic dries crystal clear in no time and cleans up with water. Minwax Polycrylic. A new beginning deserves a beautiful new finish. Minwax Polycrylic. Today's way to keep wood beautiful.
Lysol spray use number 111. That slimy stuff in the recycling bin. Lysol disinfectant spray. There's nothing this can't do.
Well, we're here with Wanda and Babs, who feel that their zipper bag is fine and will not switch to Gladlock zipper bags.
That's right. Ditto.
Now, Babbo, let's say you hold some of your famous chicken gravy upside down over Wanda's head, sealed in either your bag or the Gladlock bag with the yellow and blue make green seal, so you know the bag is closed. Your bag doesn't have a green seal.
Well, I say let's go for it with our bag. Why switch? Because it's my head. We'll switch to Gladlock.
Good call, Wanda. When it really counts, get Gladlock.
After a week of talks and a month of chaotic scenes at sea, the U.S. and Cuba have signed an agreement to end the exodus of Cubans aboard homemade boats and rafts. 25,000 refugees have been intercepted in the Florida Straits. No one knows how many more were lost. CBS News national security correspondent David Martin has the latest.
With bad weather moving in, only 86 Cubans had been plucked from the Florida Straits by mid-afternoon, and they should be among the last. This afternoon, the U.S. and Cuba signed an agreement under which Fidel Castro would stop refugees from putting to sea, and President Clinton would allow upwards of 20,000 Cubans a year to enter the U.S. legally, a drastic increase from the current number of about 3,000.
These measures will help to deter people from undertaking dangerous journeys on unsafe boats.
As for the 25,000 Cubans being held at the U.S. naval base in Guantanamo Bay, those who want to go home can. The rest can either stay in Guantanamo or be flown to so-called safe havens in other countries such as Panama. But they cannot come to the U.S.
These people will not be processed for legal migration to the United States from Guantanamo, from Panama, or from any safe haven.
The Cubans had tried to use the refugee crisis to pressure the U.S. into easing its trade embargo, which they claimed was the cause of the exodus. But the U.S. refused to even talk about the embargo.
Castro played his last card in order to get the United States to change their policy, and he didn't do it.
Whether or not the rafters were Castro's last card, he is certainly no closer to solving his economic problem. Sooner or later, he will either have to change his way of governing Cuba or once again try to export his problems to the U.S. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
The UN Conference on Population finally got past the abortion question today. It moved on to other hot issues, such as contraception, AIDS, and teenage sex. Correspondent Bob Simon is covering the talks in Cairo.
For 5 days, the subject was abortion. The lineup was the Vatican and a few Latin American countries against the rest of the world. That ended today. The Vatican did not change its mind, but it did step aside.
I think what helped at this stage was for everybody to know that this was the end of the road, but the real end of the road.
The Vatican won around when the conference agreed that family planning should not include abortion. But liberals were delighted with language stating that where abortion is not against the law, it should be safe. This was unprecedented for a UN document.
180 nations have agreed that unsafe abortion is a serious public health problem. It has to be addressed.
The biggest difference between this conference and the last one 10 years ago is the difference between the Reagan and the Clinton administrations. The American position on abortion has changed dramatically, and it moved the whole world with it, if ever so slightly. Bob Simon, CBS News, Cairo.
In New York, baseball owners today rejected a new proposal by players to end the month-long strike. No further talks are scheduled at this time. The owners said they will wait until next week to decide whether to cancel the rest of the season. Stay with us for more of tonight's CBS Evening News, including the return of Ross Perot, trying to relight the fire of his followers.
Okay, Daddy's turn to eat. Mommy said, try Crispix. It doesn't get soggy in milk. Yeah, Mommy is funny. Okay, so it starts crispy. Big deal, huh? Well, like childhood, this won't last.
Kellogg's Crispix cereal. Delicious corn and rice that stays crispy to the end.
Last bite. This should be mushy enough for you. Hey, it's still crispy. You're gonna love this stuff. Of course, you're gonna need teeth first. That means orthodontist.
These people were killed accidentally by a colorless, odorless gas, carbon monoxide.
My husband carried this picture in his wallet for 21 years.
I woke up in the hospital, and Patty never woke up.
We gave our pictures to First Alert to help prevent more needless deaths.
Get a First Alert carbon monoxide detector for your home.
Please, before it's too late.
Dear Aquafresh, my teeth were so sensitive.
The pain was awful. Aquafresh Sensitive targets the problem, soothing the nerve to help stop the pain.
No more pain.
And great fresh taste.
Aquafresh Sensitive soothes the nerve, helps stop the pain.
How do green thumbs keep veggies fresher longer? Ziploc brand vegetable bags with tiny holes called freshness vents. They let the right amount of moisture out, keep freshness in. That's the whole reason.
Ziploc has the lock on freshness.
For vegetables.
A former national security advisor blows the whistle on Reagan, Bush, and Ollie North. Just one of 3 brand new stories, Sunday on 60 Minutes. These small-town 12-year-olds are accused of brutally shooting a man to death, and we do mean brutally. Eye on America investigates Monday on the CBS Evening News.
A key development in the O.J. Simpson case tonight. CBS News has learned that the prosecution has decided not to seek the death penalty for Simpson in the double murder case. The decision could have an impact on the jury selection process in the trial scheduled to begin September 26. The prosecutors are expected to release a statement tonight saying that after weighing the evidence and the circumstances, such as O.J. Simpson's record and character, they have decided not to seek the death penalty. The November elections are less than 2 months away, and Ross Perot has decided it's time to emerge from Politico's shadowland again. Perot starts a swing of rallies tonight in Denver to fire up his supporters. Before setting off from Dallas, Perot talked with correspondent Linda Douglas. Here's her report.
Thank you very much. Is he a powerful political force, or is he irrelevant? Whatever he is, Ross Perot is back, today kicking off a 10-city campaign to rejuvenate the movement of disgruntled voters he founded more than 2 years ago.
I'll be talking to them about the issues. We'll be talking about everything from health care to Haiti.
Perot says he was urged to speak out by members of his organization, United We Stand, which he claims is still a huge group. But in some states, the group reportedly is disintegrating. Some drifted away after Perot's defensive performance in the debate with Vice President Gore over NAFTA.
Well, what specific changes would you make in it?
I can't, unless you let me finish, I can't answer your question.
Tom Blakely, then a member of United We Stand, was one of many who were disappointed.
He lost credibility with his debate with Vice President Gore on NAFTA, and that was the beginning of it.
Perot brushes off suggestions that his appeal has faded.
Do you think Ross Perot has to make a comeback?
I have no desire at all to be in public life, and I never have.
Maybe not, but he hasn't ruled out another run for president as head of a third party if the other two parties don't respond to the frustrations of voters.
Only if the two parties are wandering around in the dark without a flashlight will we then say, well, we've got to have somebody out here that represents the people.
He argues voters want tighter controls on government spending and ethics, issues he says have not been addressed since he raised them in his campaign.
There are rules in mud wrestling. There are rules even for war. There are no rules in politics.
At his rallies, Perot will hammer away at Washington, and that hits home with angry voters. Experts say no matter what happens to Perot, people who support his issues may determine the outcome of the November elections. Linda Douglas, CBS News, Dallas.
Okay, if the moon was really made out of cheese, I'd be an astronaut. Healthy Choice makes real cheese with skim milk, so it's naturally fat-free. I love their shredded cheddar. I put it on practically everything. I put it in taco salads. I put it on nachos. I put it in my famous tortilla torpedoes. Cheese is the center of my food universe. I even put cheese on my cheese. Oh, Healthy Choice cream cheese makes this killer cheesecake. Without cheese, I am nothing. With Healthy Choice, I eat what I like. Cheese.
Attention.
2 class action lawsuits involving Fiberboard Corporation are pending in court that may affect your rights. If you, a family member, or someone for whom you have legal responsibility was exposed directly or indirectly to asbestos or asbestos-containing products, or if you are a person or entity which may be sued by asbestos-exposed individuals, call 1-800-792-2000 for information. Even if you are not suffering from any symptoms of injury, call 1-800-792-2000.
We just weren't hungry, dear. Well, I'll make cappuccino.
Cappuccino? They don't have a rug, but they have a cappuccino machine. Honey, what's going on? Maxwell House Cappuccino. Delicious.
I'll help with the dishes. Oh, that's okay. We have a dishwasher, too.
Maxwell House Cappuccino. The magic without the machine.
There must be something in this. This is not just like blown up corn.
It doesn't look like it was stamped out. It looks natural.
They're not flakes. They're just little, small, crunchy things.
Grape nut cereal. What's in it for you?
When it hits your mouth, you're so surprised. It's a good wake-up, start the day kind of taste.
It's not one that goes soggy in your mouth.
They stay crunchy forever.
It makes my body happy and it makes my mouth happy.
Grape nuts. There's lots in it for you.
I think crunchy's great for you. What do you want, soggy, flabby? I mean...
Dan Rather, Connie Chung, the CBS Evening News, where your world comes together.
The great debate over health care in America is in a late summer limbo amid doubts that it can ever produce real reform. Some say it can't be done. But shadowing the debate is the idea that a neighbor nation supposedly has the problem solved. Canada has universal health coverage and it works. Or does it? We took a new look at the Canadian system for tonight's Eye on America.
Ready? Mark? Go kick it.
When Elaine Gordillo looks at her 2-year-old son, Mark, she knows he's not an ordinary child.
I could almost wager that my baby is $1 million baby.
Mark was born with a disconnected esophagus. Luckily for Elaine and Mark, he was born in Alberta, in Canada, and like all Canadians, he's guaranteed free health care for life.
He spent weeks and weeks in ICU where he had his own private nurse.
All this coverage sounds great to Americans, and Canadians agree. More than 90% believe their health care system is a national treasure. But now, some provinces have started charging patients for services which used to be free. When Elaine Gordillo got a bill for a $60 feeding tube for Mark, she hit the roof.
I didn't think it was right. I didn't think it was fair. And I just refused to pay the bills.
Ironically, as both the U.S. and Russia are looking here at Canada as the model for a healthcare system, the Canadian system itself is sick. Big deficits are forcing provinces to cut back on doctors' incomes and patient services. And a lot of Canadians are becoming increasingly frustrated and angry.
The social cutbacks is a problem, and everyone feels it now.
Your father has been here since last night. Has he been able to get a room?
No. There has been no beds. They've cut off, I guess they close the wards on the weekends because the nursing staff is cut down dramatically over the weekend.
Ontario, where the largest number of Canadians live, also has the largest deficit, $10 billion. To try and close the gap, hospitals have been ordered to keep their costs level. They've responded by reducing beds and laying off nurses. That means long waits for patients needing treatment, and some of those treatments aren't even covered now.
We have provided everything for everybody all the time. We can't do that anymore.
Physicians like Dr. Michael Wyman are paid by the government. But in the last 5 years, they've not only seen the quality of patient care decline, but their own incomes as well. You've taken a cut in pay.
We've taken a cut in pay, and our attitude has been to reduce the services rather than actually take a cut in pay. We try to cut back on patient services where it's unnecessary, but they want it to be free and they want it when they want it.
And that's part of the problem. Canadians see their doctors about 1/3 more often than Americans, sometimes for minor complaints, such as a cold or sore throat. One of the problems is that people are coming in for emergency care when they shouldn't be, and clogging the emergency rooms.
Yes, very much so. People just run to the doctor and expect to be seen. Every time we use the system, it costs us, and it costs everybody.
In tax dollars.
Yes, very much so.
The Canadian healthcare system provides high-quality care for everyone. and a lesson for American lawmakers that universal health care is not cheap. Canadians pay hefty taxes to support it, and as health costs soar, even that is not enough. More and more Canadians are having to pay for some treatments out of their own pockets. Ontario Health Minister Ruth Greer.
If we had not taken some steps to contain costs, to put a cap on doctors' billings, to look at how hospitals can work together more efficiently, we might have gone bankrupt.
But most Canadians are determined not to give up any of their benefits, anticipating that each cut is another step toward their worst fear.
Before we know it, we're going to be U.S. We're going to have the health care of the Americans. That honestly is terrifying me.
Next week, the United States Congress returns to begin the endgame for health care in 1994. Dan Rather is live tonight at the site of the U.S. air crash in Pennsylvania. An update on that story when we return.
A new wind is rising, bringing change, bringing the all-new Ford Windstar, a totally new minivan. Windstar is the only minivan that combines standard dual airbags, 5-mile-an-hour bumpers, and 4-wheel anti-lock brakes. Plus, it meets all passenger car safety standards. It's safety that takes the minivan in a whole new direction. The all-new front-wheel drive Ford Windstar. The future of minivans begins today.
I really didn't want my husband to color his gray hair.
But then I discovered this, the hair coloring called Just for Men.
And now he looks better than ever.
Simply apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, rinse. Just for Men blends away the gray for a totally natural look. No wonder 8 out of 10 wives of Just for Men users prefer it to the gray look.
It's like you took off 10 years.
And in just 5 minutes.
Just for Men. She'll love the way you look.
We're the prize patrol from Publishers Clearinghouse.
I don't believe it!
I just won $1 million.
Making dreams come true. We've been doing it for years. We've been all across the country and seen screams of delight, moments of disbelief, and tears of joy. These winning moments are special for them, special for us too. We're the Publishers Clearinghouse Prize Patrol, and we're looking forward to meeting you soon.
30 years ago, we promised to take care of each other.
Seems like only yesterday.
And today we're taking better care of our health with Ensure.
More than a vitamin supplement, Ensure is a delicious drink with all the nutrients adults need to help stay healthy, active, be energetic.
Drink Ensure as a meal.
Or in between meals.
Ensure is recommended #1 by doctors as a source of complete balanced nutrition.
Ensure. To your health, honey.
Oh, to our health.
Back now on the scene just outside Pittsburgh in Hopewell Township, Pennsylvania, to recap our top story and tomorrow's headlines. Investigators are searching for clues in the crash of U.S. Air Flight 427. At the crash scene, total devastation. The Boeing 737 destroyed. No survivors among the 132 people on board. The plane's flight and cockpit recorders were recovered and sent to Washington for analysis. At this hour, exact cause of the crash still unknown.
And that's our news. For all of us at CBS News, thank you for joining us. Good night and have a great weekend. Good night, Dan.
Good night, Connie. Good night, everybody.
This is CBS. Attention all stations concerned. There will be an update of the CBS